And now, from the studios of Renegade Talk Radio in Maui, Hawaii, and the southwestern Arizona desert, it's time for the RaunchFoxxx Foxxxcast. With your host, 6'10" RaunchFoxxx, the smokescreen machine, Hollywood, and one slick bitch, Natty C. So sit back, strap in, and get ready for another great ride. Here's your host, RaunchFoxxx.
Oh, hey, everybody. What's going on? RaunchFoxxx with you. It is RenegadeTalkRadio.com. The RaunchFoxxx Foxxxcast, episode number 7 already. The lucky 7 is in the house. And we are so glad to be here with you in this hectic world with so much to talk about. So many things. Conspirators are no longer called kooks. It seems to be the way because now a lot of conspiracy theory seems to be the most accepted possibility when no one has an answer in our highly technological world. And as you know, here at Renegade Talk Radio, we don't sugarcoat shit, and neither do Richie and Marla. And you want to hear their show, Richie and Marla. That's what they're known for, not sugarcoating any type of feces, stools, droppings, turds, whatever you want to call it. That's the way they roll. Yours truly, RaunchFoxxx. I'm here with our lovely co-host, Natty C, and our new fellow who's back, and he's real excited tonight. We call him the smokescreen machine, Hollywood. Let's start with ladies first. And Natty, how's your week? How have you been?
My week has been awesome.
Yeah?
Very, very busy, and I'm very excited to be here with you guys tonight.
Yeah, why?
Well, because I love you guys.
No.
But my week has been busy for other reasons. My son had a gig last night, which was pretty awesome.
What does he do? What does he do?
He's a guitarist.
Yeah.
And he is part of a band called Inertia, and they specialize in a type of music called djent. That's D-J-E-N-T. And it's some pretty cool stuff. It's not a type of music that I would normally listen to, but certainly very interesting.
So if someone was a complete idiot, put djent in layman's terms for us.
Djent is
Djent,
like,
the D is, okay.
Yeah, it is like really, really, really heavy metal with the kind of screaming vocals, like the raw kind of vocals,
right?
With melodic elements kind of interwoven into each piece, and they're typically very epic songs, north of 6-7 minutes long. And
it's the band is called Inertia, and are they
Inertia.
on YouTube, or are they on SoundCloud, or where can we hear one of their songs? Are they on the internet yet?
They are. Well, they have a Facebook page, so they're working on their presence. So we're working on that, and that's pretty much it. They're starting to upload some of their own material now up to their Facebook page.
Cool. Inertia, I-N-E-R-T-I-A?
Yes, sir.
There you
Inertia
go.
AZ. Yep.
Inertia AZ. All right. Well, yeah, we'll have to check that out for sure. Maybe next week, if you got an MP3, we'll play a cut. You two can't say anything because they're independent. I'll put it right on the show.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Well, good to have you back. Paulie, what's happening with you, brother?
It's been a rather uneventful week in my part of the world, but, it's kind of funny, how last week we were talking about, meetings in the home and child discipline and everything. No less than 24 hours after we finished recording, I got news from my mother that my 18-year-old niece was suspended for fighting in school for a week, and I think tomorrow is going to be her first day back. But how ironic is that? I mean, you talk about speak of the devil.
Are we going to see her on like that hip hop thing? What's that website called where they show all the fights?
Oh, I'm not sure about that site, but
it's called World Hip Hop, I think it is.
Or World Star. That's
World
what
Star,
it's called.
yeah, World
That's
Ask Weapon.
Right. And it's funny because of the lack of discipline. She was taken out the very next day, or maybe it was Monday, shopping for a prom dress. I mean, where the hell does that happen?
Shopping for a prom dress, and she ended up getting in a fight with someone.
Yeah, after the fight. Oh, you're suspended. Well, let's go and shop for a prom dress for you. That sounds like a good idea.
Oh, I thought she got in a fight while she was shopping for the prom dress because Bruce stepped up and said, I think I want that one. See, you had me going for a minute. I'm thinking she's there, she's trying stuff on, it's like unisex. No, I want to try it first. And one thing led to another, but now you're saying it happened after the fact. Okay, so she got in a fight at school.
She got in a fight at school. She got suspended from school, and then 2 days into her suspension, she's taken shopping for a prom dress. I mean, is that punishment to you? Does that sound like punishment?
I think it's excessive. I think 24 hours was sufficient. Because, it's like, Paul Harvey used to say, and that's the rest of the story. I mean, who provoked it? What was it about?
We don't know.
Yeah, you're so vague, dude. You got to remember, people are listening right now thinking, what did this little fucking thing, what'd she do? So what do you have any details of what happened or just generality here?
Oh, no, I actually do have some details.
Well, let's go. Let's go.
Let's get some, you want to get the skinny. Here's the skinny. I think it was after a math class or during the math class, one of her girlfriends was texting her boyfriend saying that she was being such a bitch and such a flirt, and so then her boyfriend texts her back, and she gets all upset, and after the class is dismissed, they started fighting in the hallway. And, I don't think any stitches were required. We are talking about a girl fight here, but she was, immediately
Oh, a girl
reprimanded.
fight. Oh, I know a chick in UFC that would beg to differ with you, but go ahead.
Well, so anyway, she was immediately reprimanded. She was given in-school suspension for the rest of the day. Her mother had to come and pick her up, and then for a week she was at home enjoying the luxuries of not having to go to school. And I got to be honest with you, I've always thought that out-of-school suspension was really no kind of a punishment whatsoever.
Bring it. I want to get in trouble. Go ahead, kick me out for a week. I'm down with that.
I averaged one per year from the time I was in 7th grade till the time I was in 12th grade. I always gave myself a nice little vacation at the right time.
Suspended or not, I still went to basketball practice after school.
Well, I don't think they'd let you miss basketball practice. At your height and at your age, you were probably
They needed you.
Hey, I'm 6'10", right? I'm an erection. I'm only 5'5". I'm happy to be sitting here with Natty and Paulie tonight. Well, that's good then. She kicked some ass and took a week off. Did she do any damage? I mean, did you hear the end result of the bout?
Nothing, no severe damage. I think she lost a little bit of hair. A lot of hair pulling went on, but other than that, nobody got any cuts, nobody got any black eyes.
A lot of hair pulling. Well, as long as she shaves her legs before the prom, we'll be all right. All right, well, good. So what happened with me, you say? I don't know what happened with me. Let me see. Earlier today, I took Jen out. We got on the Harley. It's AZ Bike Week here in Arizona. All kind of stuff's been going on all week long. I just scored my tickets for Saturday. There's a thing called the Arizona Bike Fest out at the Wild Horse Pass, which is a casino here in Arizona. It's badass. It's Las Vegas caliber. It's one of the nicer ones. And, of course, we're going to go out there. It's going to be cool in the daytime. There's going to be demo rides. You're going to see a lot of cool stuff. And then at 7 o'clock that night, we're going to be sitting almost up in the front there watching Sammy Hagar live. Yeah, baby. So Hagar's in town. And Friday night, I don't know if you remember a group called The Cult, but they're going to be at the Wild Horse Pass Friday night. I'm saying this because Natalie is also a fellow Arizonan. So the Cult's Friday, Sammy Hagar Saturday, and Bike Week rolls. So it's Bike Fest, and I'm taking Jen to that. So getting back to what I was saying, so we went out for a ride today. I had taken my bike to a local Harley dealer and had some new handlebars, some 17-inch bars put on. And evidently, they didn't tighten down my ground wire on my battery like they should. And I got to be honest with you, this is the second time it's happened when I'm paying people $85 an hour for their quote-unquote service. The guy that did my bike, I love him to death. But somewhere along the line, that thing vibrated loose. And apparently, for the last 3 or 4 days when I'm riding my bike, it's just been running on its own juice. It's not charging up. I got a loose cable. So we go out, and we're at a really cool place called the Raceway Inn. Raceway Inn has been on American Pickers. They're out here in the Maricopa area. And American Pickers, if you've ever seen the TV show, they bought an Airstream, a 1970 Airstream from the owner of Raceway. So we go out to start the motorcycle this afternoon, and I'm thinking, oh, man, Natty and Paulie are going to be irritated now because I'm not going to be home in time. And battery was just about dead. It wasn't charging at all. It wasn't even hitting 10 on the gauge as far as volts. So fortunately, I had a little trickle charger, and somebody had a big old diesel truck behind me. Well, you don't hotshot your bike. And I've got one, Mac Daddy, big electro glide, high-end digital, it's ABS brakes. It's got everything like a car. But if you have a truck and you try to hotshot your motorcycle and the truck's engine's running, you go fry the whole thing. So what you do is you have them fire up their motor a little bit. They shut down their truck and we just, connect batteries. So the truck isn't running. It's sucking juice out of this big diesel into my bike. So I got to be honest with you, only 15, 20 minutes later, it had enough juice to kick over. So I had the bike, all the parts, seat was off, everything was open down in there, and I've got 100 wires because I've got every light kit on this bike imaginable. I look like an 18-wheeler coming down the street. And lo and behold, I got home to be with you guys on time. And that was that. But other than that, Jen picked up some kind of a flu bug a couple days ago. She was in a Walmart, filthy. And she's better now. But, so between her getting sick a little bit early in the week and that stuff today, I tell you, I can't wait till Friday when we go out and hang out and do some things. And then the Saturday, of course, the Sammy Hagar concert. So going to be a good time for one and all. And there's a lot going on around town. I don't even know if you're into that kind of stuff or not, Natty. I'm telling you, because there's a lot of bars, a lot of entertainment, all age stuff going on as well. You can go to AZ Bike Week on the internet and look it up and see what's going on in your town here if you're into any of that.
Very cool. I'm going to check it out for
right
sure.
On. Yeah, right on. So what else has been happening? We like, everybody, we're going to spoof the news today. I could talk about a bunch of different stuff. Smartphones have been in the news a lot. I don't know if you've heard about this, but they're saying that we can actually save billions of dollars, Americans as a group, right? If we had a way to kill our smartphones, kill it, like a smartphone kill switch. You know what I'm saying? This is like a kill switch where you can render the device useless if it's stolen, obviously, right? And a lot of people have that. Politicians are actually pushing carriers of the smartphones to make the feature standard on phones in the United States. So they're talking about it. But come on now. If you want to render your phone useless, sign up with AT&T. But also, though, it would replace the old smartphone kill switch. And, of course, everybody knows that is. It's when you drop it in the fucking toilet. So, just saying, everybody. Just saying. Hey, Paulie, I don't know. You're like, I don't know if you're into Comic-Cons or stuff like that. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. That's a movie that's going to be opening in theaters soon. Are you aware of any of that stuff by any chance? Just curious.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I am a bit of a comic book geek, a superhero geek. However, I'm not too big into Marvel comics. I'm more like into DC comics. And,
okay. Fair enough.
I'll tell you, I am going to go see this one. Captain America is probably one of the few Marvel characters that I can tolerate. It's a strong concept, and the movie does look great. And of course, I'd imagine that the merchandising has already started. I'm sure the toys are hitting the shelves.
Oh, more than that. I'm glad you brought that up. The movie, Natty, this one's called Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And it's getting ready to open. Steve Rogers, Captain America, right? The plot is he's going to try to teach an old Soviet foe a new lesson, and that is Crimea doesn't pay. So anyway, and there's another movie opening called Dom Hemingway, and it's a story about a notorious thief. He's set free after 12 years in prison. Basically, he's going to return to his old job at Goldman Sachs. So, we try to keep everything real in the news here. Colorado. Why is Colorado in the news all the time? What do you think of now when you hear the state Colorado, the Mile High City?
Weed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about getting stoned.
Well, they've added a whole new meaning to the term recreational vehicle. Back in the old day, it used to mean a vehicle that had four wheels. Now, when you say recreational vehicle, it is basically means twisted at each end. But anyway, hey, Vladimir Putin. Did anybody see Jimmy Fallon? He did a shtick with Sarah Palin where he does Vladimir Putin and he's talking to her. Anyway, you got to check it out, folks. If you don't, look it up on YouTube. Jimmy Fallon, Sarah Palin. It's hilarious. But anyway, him and his wife are actually divorcing after 30 years of marriage. Little 5'8" studly boy with his shirt off. Putin. He's going to get divorced, 30 years of marriage. They're not allowed to have irreconcilable differences in Russia. So to put it in a nutshell, he wanted to invade, she wanted to secede. Fox TV? I don't know. What do you think about Fox, Natty? You see CNN, you see Fox. Everybody says everything's media driven. They're always playing the news. Do you think Fox is fair and balanced as they claim?
No, I don't. And honestly, I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I do a lot more reading than I do watching television.
And you're probably better off. But they green-lighted an ancient Egyptian thriller called Hieroglyph for the new season. Now, if it's successful, they actually plan to field an accompanying sitcom, and it's going to be called How I Met Your Mummy. Yeah, it's happening. Meryl Streep back in the news. She plays a has-been rock star in the TriStar movie called Ricky and Flash. And this is where she takes a grocery clerk job while trying to revive her fading career. Now, for character authenticity, right, Meryl Streep has been hitting the club scene with Courtney Love. So Did you guys see down in Florida that SWAT team that busted into this barber shop? It was just one of those side stories, but there was a SWAT team. They were sent to arrest a barber doing business without a license. They send a SWAT team into this guy's shop. Now, this is not bullshit. Look it up. After they cuffed the guy, the suspect was told he had a right to remain silent, but he was unable to, and he got actually released because the cops called it off because of they got bored. And these guys start talking. So that was over. And another thing, Hollywood Blvd movie theaters have increased their security at the box office windows. I don't know if you saw this, but just in March, there was a string of robberies on Hollywood Blvd at the movie theaters. And last week, a movie theater was robbed of about $500. And, of course, the thief made off with for that, he got a large box of popcorn, a Diet Coke, and a box of Milk Duds. But you know how that rolls. Like when we were talking about the average guy spending $125 at the ballpark, and that, of course, was just for parking last week. Have you guys ever drank energy drinks? I don't, because people think I do cocaine anyway. I go so fast. But like the old days of Jolt Cola, and there's an energy drink out there called Craze. Have either of you heard about it or ever tried it?
I've not tried it. I have heard of it, yeah.
Well, I'm a Monster energy drinker myself.
Well, there you go. Well, Walmart actually stopped selling Craze after an investigation found that it had a chemical compound that was actually found in crystal meth. This is true. I mean, you can always spot the meth addict inside a Walmart. He's the one with the overturned cart working on one of the wheels, you know? And lastly, Judge Judy is in the news. She's suing a Connecticut lawyer for using her image without her permission. And, since it has to do with your reputation and professionalism on the bench, the suit's going to be tried in small claims court. But anyway, that's the way we see the news in and around the world. And, of course, I'm talking right here on the Foxxcast. We're going to be back with more. We're going to start it off with our new segment called The Smokescreen Machine with Hollywood. So keep it right here, Renegade Talk Radio and the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast. We'll be back right after this.
We'll be back with more of the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast here on Renegade Talk Radio. No Whimps. You know if you belong. Stay tuned.
The Maury Povich Show has joined forces with the national campaign to prevent teen and unplanned pregnancy. Maury urges teenagers to help ensure that children are born into stable two-parent families who are committed to the demanding task of raising the next generation. However, if you are a teenage girl who is already pregnant,
we'll find out who the baby daddy is. It's more shocking DNA test results on the next Maury.
RaunchFoxxx. Hey, it ain't gonna suck itself. What are you waiting on?
911, what is your emergency?
Give me that filet fish! Give me that fish!
Sir, calm down. I cannot understand you. Please repeat that.
Give me that filet fish! Give me that fish!
Okay, sir. I need you to tell me your exact location.
What if it were you hanging up on this wall?
Sir, is this some kind of joke? Because it's not funny.
If it were you in that sandwich, you wouldn't be laughing at all!
Okay, sir. I hear the officers arriving. They'll be able to help you.
Go ahead. Slow your mouth. Eat your dry hard. Do you have enough RAM? Bend over and let the Raunch upgrade your memory. The RaunchFoxxx cyber sickness. Oozing out of computers everywhere.
a recent study proves that watching television shows or movies in which alcohol is featured prominently actually drives people to immediately reach for the bottle themselves. Let's see if the same is true for radio. Thirsty? We thought you'd be. Proving conclusively that radio too can drive you to drink. Need further proof? Just listen to...
And now, back to the only white man that made Shaquille O'Neal look away in the men's locker room. RaunchFoxxx, packing more penis than a Lance Bass Elton John sausage fest.
Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? RaunchFoxxx back with you. The RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast here on Renegade Talk Radio. And we are so glad to have you along for the ride. I had to pull this up. It was an old riff of the Grateful Dead, a cut called Shakedown Street. Now, if you're a Dead fan, you recognize this. One of the few Grateful Dead songs that had like a little disco flair to it. But anyway, welcome back to the show, everybody. And lo and behold, you know, with all the stuff going on, Paulie Wood, our conspiracy theory-tour, if you will, our smokescreen machine, he's just been so excited. He came at me about 3 different times in the past week. He wanted to talk about a whole lot of different things. And I said, yes, let's do it. Yes, let's do it. So I'm getting all excited. I do my research about one thing. He comes back and says, oh, let's talk about this instead. I've been doing my okay, let's do it. And then he did it again. Last night he said, hey, I think I want to talk about something else that's in the news. And I said, okay, let's do it. Natty, do you think he can hold our attention with that kind of energy?
I challenge him to. Come with it, Paulie.
Yeah, bring it, buddy. So this is your first official segment as the smoke screen machine, so you bring it and we'll wing it. It's all you, Paulie.
All right. Well, it's a very appropriate song for the lead-in, too, with Shakedown Street.
Oh, you caught that. Okay.
Hey, come on. Nothing gets past me, man.
All right.
Well, so listen, over the last several days, a noticeable increase in seismic activity has occurred along the western United States. Specifically, a swarm of earthquakes has occurred extending from the western edge of the Yellowstone magma chamber now over eastward towards the center of the national park itself. And the building pressure is manifesting as multiple 3.0 magnitude earthquakes or greater, all of which at a depth of about 3 miles or greater inside the Yellowstone magma chamber.
So a bunch of little bitties, but that stuff can mount and add up.
Well, it's those little bitties that are kind of troubling, and it's more so the depth at which they're occurring, because it's an indication of something kind of bad. And as if it weren't enough, the pressure is also kind of translating to earthquakes occurring farther southwest of Yellowstone and along the deformed edge of the northern American Craton, now extending into central California and into the subduction zone of the North American Plate. Now, before anybody gets confused by anything that I just said, in addition to that, within the last couple days, there was that 8.1 magnitude earthquake in Chile, followed by a 7.2 aftershock just last night.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton. Yeah, 6 miles deep. And to me, that doesn't seem that deep as well. But you're telling me Yellowstone 3 miles. That seems even obviously, to me, that doesn't seem like it's that deep into the earth. Of course, I don't know enough about it to make obviously an educated decision, but 8.1, 7.2, all the tsunami warnings in all the Pacific Ocean regions. But get back to Yellowstone, because that's not too far from me.
Well, the problem is that the U.S. Geological Service has suppressed a lot of reports of movement and changes in elevation in the ground. But there are 12 different monitors set up around the national park itself that are designed to measure the swelling of the ground, even just as little as a quarter of an inch. But they're suppressing the release of those reports, and they're used to have straight up access to this. I mean, anybody with a computer could just go into the U.S. Geological Service and find out what's going on where at any given point in time. But these particular monitors have been kind of shut off in a sense,
right?
And what's even more troubling, and this is a few of these videos are kind of surfacing along YouTube and other various sources on the internet. They're noticing the mass migration of bison, birds, deer, and other animals that are native to the region. They're not just walking out of this area, they are running.
I saw a picture on YouTube of Yellowstone buffalo just running down the main road.
Yeah, I mean, not even bothering to try and hitchhike or anything. They are just running down the road. And it's kind of a troubling sign. because, like I say, they're suppressing the information about what's going on over there. So they really don't want people to kind of get into a panic, I suppose. But the thing is, not a lot of people, I think, realize that Yellowstone is, in fact, a giant caldera. This is not just a volcano like Vesuvius or Mount St. Helens. We're talking a super volcano. We're talking something like an extinction-level event if this thing were to erupt. Just to give you an idea of what would happen if and again, this is also all projection because really nobody, honest to God, knows. We've not experienced something like this in the last 70-some-odd thousand years. But if there were to be an eruption, the kill zone would pretty much wipe out Montana, and it would wipe out all of Wyoming. You'd see portions of Utah and Idaho just instantly killed. I mean, we're talking like worse than any kind of nuclear bomb that's out there. The ash zone would spread as far as the very, very eastern border of Wisconsin. It would probably swallow up about 3/4 of Missouri, half of Illinois, 3/4 of Oklahoma, half of New Mexico, half of Arizona, all of Nevada would be covered, half of Oregon, and half of Washington. Now, that's just where the ash would fall. The stuff that gets up and into the atmosphere would be so devastating to this planet that for the first 2 weeks after the eruption, and this wouldn't just happen overnight, this would be a series of eruptions that takes place over the course of about 2 weeks. But after those 2 weeks, and after the major eruption occurs, so much ash gets up and into the atmosphere that the entire planet's temperature would drop by about 5 degrees. Now, what that means is that plant life everywhere would start to die off, and then things that feed on those plants.
And what about the sunlight? What about sunlight getting through?
Well, that's why those things would die off, because the UV rays and much of the sunlight would just not be getting down here to the surface. And it honestly, a lot of scientists speculate that it really wasn't an asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs. It was likely the eruption of a supervolcano. And these things happen on a fairly regular basis, especially the Yellowstone. And by regular, I mean they can measure that it happens pretty much every 650,000 years. The last one was about 640,000 years ago. The one prior to that was 1.2 million years ago.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there were some people that wrote that down in the books back then. How do they know that? 650,000, a million? How do they know? Let me be devil's advocate with you, the bad guy, for a minute.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine, because the reason that they're able to draw these conclusions is by doing soil samples and by checking out where these ashes are in the soil relative to where other things are in the soil. So it's kind of like a radiocarbon dating for the planet.
Well, can they measure like tectonic plate shifts or anything like that, or like right now you're talking about Yellowstone? They talk about that magma chamber at Yellowstone. So, I mean, they're not concerned about the possibility of the volcano, but the bad news is they're saying that, with all these little shifts and all these little things going on, once you get enough melt, it's called melt, then that could just trigger an eruption just like that. So forget it. There's no promises after that, but that's what it would take to do it. So there's enough activity right now that they need to start watching that, because, I mean, a lot of conspiracy theories are out there. The USGS is trying to hide bad news, but you know what, Natty, Paulie, just like everything else, the media is being told what to say, and there's a lot of things that are being hidden from us, and this is just another. And I weep for the babies and the young kids in the world today. Because, right now in our lives, think about when we were younger, we didn't have to face all this kind of stuff. I mean, we were happy-go-lucky. We were doing things. I'm a little older than you, Paulie, and Natty.
It's a very different time now.
Yeah, but the days of remembering all your neighbors' names and who they were and what they did, a lot of people don't even know who they live next door to anymore. And
just to give you an idea here, Raunch, compared to, say, an all-out nuclear exchange, which would have fairly instantaneous results as far as wiping out significant portions of the population, this would have a kill zone that would be very localized, but we're talking about a process of slow starvation for the entire world, no matter where they are on the planet in relation to this eruption. It's going to get everybody. And there won't necessarily be a whole lot of warning for this. I mean, we're really just not able to We're not going to be able to predict, when it's going to start. But once it does start, we can predict what's going to happen, and it's going to be ugly if it does happen. And you mentioned the conspiracy theories. One of the things that's been going on a lot, and it's been being reported across the globe, but particularly in our hemisphere, are these loud sonic booms and these loud sonic noises that some people are speculating is HAARP and other people are speculating is underground tunneling.
Right.
I mean, it could be connected to the construction of these underground shelters that are, being built in preparation for this kind of thing. And if they're monitoring what's going on over there, and if they're able to tell that, things are kind of looking bad in this region, and they've been able to prepare for this, then, on some level, there could be a very loose connection between the two. So there's your conspiracy end for this, in addition to, of course, the suppression of information.
Yeah, and we're a little more technologically advanced than we were at the dawn of civilization. I mean, stopping an eruption, impossible. But the researchers are saying that, they should be able to predict an eruption just by continuing to monitor the pressure of the underground magma. So at least they got something to watch now. What does that mean? I don't know. But I saw an article that said, hey, if this super volcano does kick in, it could kill everyone in the United States. So, I got tickets for Australia if anything goes crazy, though.
That's my doom and gloom for the week. I hope everybody has pleasant dreams.
Oh, so Natty, what do you think? You sitting here picturing this thing going off in the sky getting black while he's explaining this to us?
I am. I don't think I'm going to go to bed tonight. It's crazy.
And how old's your son?
Well, I've got 3, but my oldest is 15.
3 and 15.
I've got 15, 10, and a 2.5-year-old, yeah.
Wow. So, hey, I mean, you got to think about the kids and what they're going to face, So it's pretty scary stuff, Paulie. It's pretty interesting. What is your final thought on this, Paulie, before we move on to other things?
Well, my final thought is, hey, at least the Washington Redskins signed Deshaun Jackson this week. I mean, to be honest, since this is something that's so beyond our control, what's the point in worrying about it now,
So you think there's going to be an eruption in Washington, or what? I mean, what are you saying?
I'm hoping for an offensive eruption in Washington, but again, we got to get to September before that happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, that's pretty depressing stuff, but at the same time, people need to hear it. Thank you, Paulie, for that. So, everybody, with that being said, this is the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast, Renegade Talk Radio, Hollywood, with the first smokescreen machine. When we come back, we're going to bullshit a little bit more. We're going to find out what Natty's up to, see what she's bringing to the table. And I'll tell you my New York Knicks story, which I can continue to talk about for the next 6 months. What a great time that was. We'll be back with more right after this. Stick around, everybody.
We'll be back with more verbal abuse from the world's largest net shock jock, 6'10" RaunchFoxxx. He's nuts over you. Well, actually, most people.
Major League Baseball and the Cleveland Indians welcome today's fans to the home opener.
Opening day, huh? It's just me and my boy. Here, kiddo, take more of the blanket.
Yeah, Dad, this is great. What are the umpires wearing?
Oh, those are mucklocks, son, so their feet don't freeze. You want a hot dog?
Okay, Dad. Hey, why do those players' hats look so funny?
Earmuffs, buddy. Hey, pal, one hot dog over here.
Sorry, guys, the stoves are all frozen. All I got is ice cream.
Okay, we'll take one. Got any beer?
It's frozen. You want a beer pop?
That's okay, Dad.
Sure, one ice cream and one beer pop, thanks.
Hey, Dad, is that a buck?
Yeah, actually, it looks like he can't let go of the ball. Hey, you're not eating your ice cream.
Dad, I can't feel my fingers.
Neither can I, buddy. Neither can I.
Get excited, America. Major League Baseball is back. Brought to you by the Weather Channel and Under Armour. Under Armour, we must protect this house.
Get ready to achieve multiple eargasms with the biggest stroke job in cyberspace. If the microphone was a clit, none of you bitches would complain about a long, drawn-out speech. RaunchFoxxx and the cyber sickness, getting people off on their own computers.
Michael and I had guys' night out last Tuesday, and boy was it a hoot. Crab cakes on the marina, followed by a Pinot Noir under the stars, and the most decadent tiramisu you have ever tasted. I love guys' night out with my best friend, and I am not gay.
Sound familiar? Recently, people from all walks of life have been living a borderline obvious gay lifestyle while insisting they're straight. Everyone from local butchers to Idaho state senators have been caught red-handed grappling with their true selves. We're the Get a Grip Foundation, helping you get a grip on your sexuality.
There's nothing better than dance night at Old Ironsides. The beat is pumping, the mangled bodies writhing and swaying all night long until the euphoria sweeps you away. I love dancing to techno, and I am not gay.
So if you or someone you know is living in denial, call or visit our website at www.yeahright.com. You're fabulous. Isn't it time you showed it? The Get a Grip Foundation, because you are too gay.
Go ahead, smoke your mouth. Eat your pride hard. Do you have enough RAM? Bend over and let the Raunch upgrade your memory. The RaunchFoxxx cyber sickness oozing out of computers everywhere.
Hello, this is Ralph Heinblocken from the American Government Consumer Protection People Office. This Christmas, millions received gift cards to retail stores as Christmas gifts. Very thoughtful, but many consumers are not aware of some of the hidden limitations on most gift cards. So please allow us to take a moment to run down some of the more common gift card restrictions.
Rectangle-shaped cards will not be accepted after January 31st. Gift cards not accepted for goods with pink price tags, especially at Pinky's Discount Warehouse. Gift card not to be used in conjunction with Shell Oil Card, Social Security Card, or Stick of Gum. Gift cards with security barcodes beginning with thick line, skinny line. Thick line will be seized and user retained for questioning. Dollar amount on gift card may merely represent a desire to receive that much in merchandise. Retailer not liable for gift cards used to scrape windshields. Some gift cards may only be redeemed to purchase another gift card of the same amount or less.
Now you know. So enjoy your gift card and be sure to use it to your full advantage. This message from the American Government Consumer Protection People Office. Taxing you to save you money.
Some radio stations are special. All you need to hear is the station name, and you know it's different from the rest. The music, the contests, the talent.
And now, we return to the RaunchFoxxx Cyber Sickness. It's no holds barred. We've been fucking the FCC since the FCC started fucking.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast. It is RenegadeTalkRadio.com. We don't sugarcoat shit. We tell it like it is. Be sure to check us out at RenegadeTalkRadio.com. And that, of course, you can find us at iTunes. You can find us on Stitcher.com. You can find us on Podomatic. And, of course, RenegadeTalkRadio.com. All right, everybody. It's time to get a little crazy.
Okay, Renegade Nation, it's time for today's vaginal commentary with our favorite co-ho, Natty C.
Natty C's in the house, everybody. Yeah, let's get her up here. She's been gone for a couple weeks. She came back. She's got a lot going on.
I'm back, y'all.
And you are back, and I can't wait to find out what you're going to be talking about this time around. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Natty C. What's up?
Hey, a whole lot of everything. I wanted to talk a little bit about sex and porn tonight, if that's all right.
A little sex and porn? Yeah. Well, sure. We got to start somewhere.
So I've got the good, the bad, and the ugly about sex and porn. So what would you like first? The bad and ugly, and then we work to the fun stuff?
Oh, maybe just a solid connection and we get excited.
Well, let's start with the fun stuff and then see if we have time for some of the less interesting stuff. But I want to talk about a couple of popular sex and porn myths. The first one, magic penis syndrome. Have you heard of that?
Well, I mean, I remember one time I was doing a doggy style. And I was saying to her, "Now you see it, now you don't." I don't know what that means, but anyway, go ahead.
So magic penis syndrome is featured in a lot of porn movies. It's the idea that jackhammering with minimal, foreplay and handiwork is going to get a woman off. And frankly, that is not what drives the ladies crazy. In fact, did you know that over 70% of women don't get off from penetration alone?
I would. Yeah, I think I do know that. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do pride myself on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you would think otherwise, though, given, watching pornography, you see the women writhing and moaning and, being all hysterical over just sheer, penetration. And frankly, that's a myth. I mean, we require a heck of a lot more work than that. So that's myth number one that we've dispelled. The second one is that you should get off every single time. A lot of people think that sex is not worth it if you don't have an orgasm. And frankly, for women in particular, sex is more a process. It's more a journey than it is the destination versus our male counterparts.
A little more mind involved. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, bottom line is if it's March Madness and I got a light switch and a fucking carrot. Anyway, go ahead.
Another popular one is that men have a greater sex drive than women. So,
yeah.
Generally speaking, guys between the ages of 17 and 25 are juiced with testosterone. I mean, we all know that. But the frank reality is that the difference in individuals is much greater than the difference in gender as far as sex drive is concerned.
What's something a male reaches a sexual peak at 18 and a woman at 40. I never bought that, and I still don't to this day, and I'm older than 18.
That's a real thing. No, it's a real thing, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because women, once we reach a certain age, our estrogen levels drop and testosterone tends to creep up. So that's when we hit our peak versus men hitting their testosterone peak earlier in life and it dropping off as they get older.
Well, stay in shape, but then you try to get these testosterone replacements, and now you see all these lawsuits and people's bodies going awry to guys with this testosterone replacement. But I got to be honest with you. I mean, as far as horny, never an issue.
Well, and so count yourself lucky because a lot of men, do struggle with that later on in life. And it is absolutely testosterone driven. Either that or they're just not in the right relationship.
Oh, well, that's true. That's exactly true. I mean, it's all about the visual stimulation, the mental stimulation. I mean, there are things that can make you excited that have nothing to do with penetration. Like, oh, she's an independent chick. She's out there doing her thing. Oh, check her out. She don't have to depend on me to survive. Oh, yeah, that's hot.
Yep, absolutely.
So, but again, to say I peaked at 18, I think is total bullshit. I mean, I could jerk off 9 or 10 times a day. And certainly I can't do that now because, number one, I would get carpal tunnel. But more so, I don't know. I just even in my 30s and 40s, I'm like, I don't get it. And of course, now they got the, Ashley Madison and Cougar.com and all this crap for the older ladies that want something younger. But I think that as you get older, you can be a little more patient, too. I mean, let the chick get off 7 or 8 times before you even do anything. Well, that's okay with me, especially if the game's on. Or just go down and then, start doing tongue twisters with your tongue and her clit. I mean, there's lots of things you can do. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm okay with it. Get off once or twice, I'm good. Once is fine, too. 7, 8, 9, 10s for the woman, I feel like I did my job okay. Whether it's a job or not, I feel like I did what I was supposed to. So keep them happy.
So here's a question for you, though.
Go ahead. Pardon my French, but go ahead, shoot.
So 7, 8, 9 times for a woman. Can you do that now? In a night?
7 or 8? No.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be like blanks. And of course, the revive time isn't as spontaneous as it used to be. After 3, maybe 4 on a good night, it just would take a while.
Well, and
that's at my age. Right? I'm in my 5th decade, so.
Yeah, well, and honestly, I would be hard pressed to tell you with any degree of sincerity that even for a woman, anything more than 3 times is real. I think anything beyond that, we are humoring the audience, so to speak, because honestly, things go numb after a certain amount of time. I'll tell you, after an hour of pounding, you're not feeling anything downtown. So
yeah,
there's that. Keep that in mind.
I've seen multiple orgasms many times in my life, you know, and I was the reason, I guess. I mean, I guess I knew what I was doing. I read the books, you know. Everybody thinks the G-spot is like 8 miles deep, and it's really not, you know. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's what you make it, and it's got to be into that person. If you're just going through the motions, or you meet some bimbo at a club and you want something to happen quick in the car in the parking lot, you young fellas, well, you know, that's because you're horny enough to make it happen. But as you get older, you know, chicks definitely want more. They definitely want more. But I'm not going to sit there and read fucking Harlequin novels to them, because you'll be saying, like, I suck at it. But anyway, no, I get that. I don't disagree at all.
Yeah. So the next myth is bigger is better. And I can tell you from my own experience that is absolutely not true. That is absolutely a guy thing, an alpha male thing. I mean, all guys want to be well endowed because they think that all girls want big dicks, right? Not so.
Well, I don't know. I'm 6'10". You know, I got to have an 18-inch dick just to look normal. You know, so I can't lie to you about that. But my attitude with that is I'm not going to cut off 2 inches for anybody. So. No, but seriously, I agree with that. The bigger the wave, the motion of the ocean, the size of the boat, all that bullshit. It's like anything else. It's what you got and how you use it. I mean,
well, yeah, and honestly, the bigger you are, the greater the chances are that you're going to cause some discomfort, some pain in the cervical region for your lady friends. So be mindful of that.
That thing is resilient, though. You can stretch it to shit, and it bounces right back to shit the next morning. I mean, resilient, I tell you, resilient. I mean, I don't say it personally, but I've seen Blacks on Blondes, you know, the whole series. No, I'm just kidding, but yeah, I get that. I mean, what are you going to do if it's painful? You're going to say, hey, listen, you're too big, you're hurting me, take it easy, just ahead.
Be gentle.
Oh, you know, I mean, when you see like a bulge in her cheek and she's like, then you might want to, you know, pull out just a little bit. But I get it.
So another thing that many of us ladies have heard, probably earlier on in our sexual careers, is that blue balls is a life-threatening condition for men.
Oh, sure.
Frankly, and it's not. It's uncomfortable. But the important thing for women to know, listening tonight, hear my words. The important thing for you to know is that blue balls only happens when a guy is literally about to get off.
About to what? We lost your signal. When a guy's about to what?
About to get off.
Oh, okay. So that's
doesn't.
Oh,
yeah.
And doesn't. Oh, yeah. That's just basic frustration. I'm like, yeah, okay, honey, whatever.
Well, and the other thing to know is that even if a guy does get blue balls, there's a very simple solution, and that is just to ejaculate, whether it's by your hands or his. So the moment that happens, he's all good.
Well, that's true. I mean, you know, I don't know how to say that other than, you know, you can be really frustrated, and especially for women if they're worried about their men. I mean, like the old attitude, you know, if you don't want the truck to leave the yard, make sure there's no gas in it, you know? But either way, it's like, oh, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Yep.
Like if she's drunk and she passes out and you're ready to get it on, you're thinking, man, this is going to be a big night. Boom. You're like, oh, shit. Yep. Been there. I mean, it's even like if they're asleep, you just like lube up their hand and grip their hand and put it around your dick, you know? Like anything. Just pretend she's into it while she's snoring.
Yeah, sure. And then, of course, lastly, we are sleeping together and he shouldn't be jerking off to porn is another popular myth. Some women subscribe to this opinion and many others that I know in my circle don't. I mean, frankly, masturbation is a healthy part of a healthy sex life.
Sure.
Even one, especially those that see a fair degree of action. So it's important to understand that a guy often needs visual stimulation in order to help him kind of get there.
It's got nothing to do with the chick being unappealing. Right. I mean, a lot of girls get all freaked out about that. Other chicks like it. And then,
they're hotter than me, meh, all that, yeah.
You know, oh, you're looking at her instead of me. What is that? That's why you're staying hard, because you're looking at her?
Yeah.
No, but it's not hurting.
Right.
I love you. We're together. So let's sit here and let's just fantasize our asses off, do whatever we got to do, which is healthy. You got a good imagination. It certainly helps because it's like 90% psychological, 10% stimulating. You're going to rub that bundle of nerves on my dick, and I'm going to hit your clit, and it's going to happen anyway. So, hey, let's watch this. What the fuck? Let's watch it. You know, it's either that or you can watch, the guy that's got 10 wives. That doesn't get me excited, all those reality shows. So, a good porn once in a while.
Oh, seriously.
But what about this? What about the guys that wants to watch a porn before he goes into bed or whatever, gets all fired up before he goes into bedroom? I know guys.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yes. Okay, I was just making sure. You know, I mean.
Well, but I'll tell you what. I know many women that would disagree with me vehemently that that's not okay, that they should be 1,000% focused on their partner. And frankly, that's just not the reality.
That's, to me, that's old school, too.
Yes, absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely.
So, you know, just do what you got to do. You know, the more, you know, it doesn't mean you're out, you know, you're not out there. You're not a polyamorous couple or you're open. It's just like, hey, you know what? Look at this. You know, wow, that's cool. Whatever. It's hard to explain because I am not adverse to any of it. It doesn't bother me at all. In fact, you know, there's been nights where I say, hey, that's pretty hot. So, you know, it is what it is. I have zero hang-ups when it comes to this. Zero. Now,
so
I don't watch
scat.
I don't watch scat, but I have zero. When it comes to porn and stuff like that, no hang-ups whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of scat. I'm not a fan of food porn, whatever that's called. I'm not a big fan of that. But the only thing I would caution against is that if you find that in your relationship, the only way that you can become stimulated is by watching porn, and you're not at all excited by your partner,
Will Robinson.
Yes. Exactly. Then you have bigger problems. You need to reevaluate yourself right there.
Yeah, exactly. Because once you become an addict, it's just like anything else. You know, you do it. No, if you do it in moderation or you do it just to do it and don't even think about it, just like it's part of whatever. But there's guys out there that are obsessed with that shit, and they can't even perform after they watch a porn or something. I mean, they gotta be Peter North or one of those guys that that if they can't be the guy in the flick, you know, then they're just not confident. I don't know. Yeah. It's a weird psyche, but you know, I agree with that.
And this brings me to the bad and ugly of sex and porn. So the word pornography is comprised of two Greek words. I don't know if you knew this, but the first is porn, meaning harlot. And the second is graphin, meaning to write. So literally the word pornography is the writing or painting harlots.
Okay.
And so a couple of myths about pornography in and of itself. So pornography, a popular myth is that it's just images, it's just clean fun, it doesn't really affect us. Well, reports tell us otherwise. Police investigators acknowledge that pornography is implicated in the behaviors of almost every serial killer.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. And professional counselors working with men who sexually abuse women report that pornography figures importantly in the abuser's behavior.
Mm-hmm. I can. Yeah. It's a control thing too. Okay. Yep. I'm with you.
Yep. 14% of women that were studied in a random sample reported that they had been asked to pose for pornographic pictures. And 10% of the same study of women surveyed reported that they were upset by someone trying to get them to reenact something seen in a pornographic picture, movie, or book.
They were how many percent were upset?
10%.
Oh, so
that's it.
So 90% are good.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. It's like, hey, honey, look. Well, let's try that. I'm not a fucking idiot, though. I'm not going to see something on a screen at this stage of my life going, gee, I've never seen that before. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, I see it. Okay, yeah, that works. I didn't like that one when I did it. I like that one. That's a good one. Let's try this. Want to try that? No, I don't know. I don't know if I want 20 guys jerking off of me at the same time or not, you know? I'm like, but honey, I'll bring the towels. But anyway, yeah, I get it. So, like I say, there's not a whole lot that shocks me. And, you know, and the super gross stuff and the public humiliation and the golden showers and all that. It is what it is. You know, certain things, I just don't care. I don't even care to watch it. I mean, I got my little peeves and my little fetishes and all that kind of stuff too. You know, I'm like Howard Stern. I like the babysitter porn and all the sick shit like that. But other than that, of course, they're legal. They're at least 18. No, but seriously.
So we know.
Yeah.
So we know.
Yeah. So, you know, it is what it is.
I like to think so. I like to hope so. I have 3 of them sitting in my pornfolio. So
damn. Well, there you go. Well, let's, you know what we got to do. We got to get, I'm going to go back and I'm going to get our conspiracy smoke screen machine guy back into this call because I don't know. He's a single guy and he seems to me like that he's very horny. And our smoke screen machine, Paulie, Paulie, we're sitting here and we're talking about porn and, guys need porn to perform. Sometimes they're obsessed with it and messes up their relationship. And, some women hate it. Some women love it. Porn has been tied into the serial killers, as she said. What about you, Paulie? Do you like porn? Be honest.
Every so often, I'll browse, a couple of sites, but for the most part, I wake up ready to go, And occasionally I've got to get my hand drunk to pleasure myself in the shower. But, I mean, a little bit of foreplay never hurts, right?
What about blue balls, Paulie? When do you think you have blue balls? You weren't in the conversation, but now that I know what the true meaning of blue balls is, when do you think you have blue balls? And when is the exact moment that you would get blue balls the most?
All right. Well, if it's quiz time, and we're going to test Paulie Wood's brain here, I'm going to say that the moment just before ejaculation would occur, if all of a sudden stimulation were to stop, that's when true blue balls.
Motherfucker! We're testing Paulie. Stop the applause, Paulie. That's a good job, Paulie.
Well, further, I think I've maybe experienced blue balls once in my life, and it wasn't during sex. I think I was 15 or 16 years old. It was just, a lot of making out with my girlfriend, and, I could feel the pressure and everything, and it sucked. It absolutely sucked, and I had to, I had to take care of myself.
Damn, if only she did.
Hey, guys, can I ask you, what does it feel like?
It feels like having a couple of extra pounds strapped to your nuts, and they're kind of, being dragged down to the ground, and it's not comfortable. It really,
So can you have blue balls and be flaccid?
No, absolutely not.
What about that, Natty?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I mean, because frankly, women, we don't have that problem. I mean, we experience different, physiological responses to frustration, but certainly we don't feel any sort of discomfort or pain other than just being pissed off that our partner rolled over and is snoring.
It can be painful. It can create a little bit of stress. You can get frustrated, like, damn, but then you think about these, and I hate to bring it up, but it might as well, because we talked about serial killers. What about rapists? What about rapists that got to go and they got to relieve themselves some way? Me personally, I take advantage of the situation. I look at it as a blessing, and that way I know that if I lay on my side, I won't roll out of bed. What's that?
Said it's like having a kickstand or something, right?
Exactly. What I'm saying, though, is what about rapists? I mean, do you think that blue balls drives them to hit the street? Nat?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that if they were to, the reason that they perpetuate the crimes that they do is because their desire to take ownership of something that's not theirs. I think if they got to that point and were close to ejaculation and then somehow were stopped, then perhaps. But I don't think it's blue balls that drives them to that.
No, it's a control freak for sure.
Yeah,
but or anger at mommy, or who knows what it is. I'm not Dr. Phil here to tell you about it. But
yep.
So the thing about the serial killers, though.
That was really interesting. And lastly, I'm going to wrap up real quick just from the because, I'm a businesswoman, so I'm all about numbers. But another popular myth is that women earn lots of money in pornography. And the frank reality is women earn 60 cents to every dollar that a male porn star earns.
Wow.
60 cents.
Really?
That doesn't seem fair at all.
Not at all. In fact, I mean, shit. The guy should get 75. But real quick, before you talk about how discriminatory it is toward the female, if you go to Urban Dictionary and you look up blue balls, it simply says the excruciating pain a man receives when his balls swell to the size of coconuts because of lack of sex, unfinished BJs, or just not coming when he knows he should. The cure. Just whack it, man, or get your woman to help you out and do the job right. It's that simple. Make that horrible pain go away. And there's a note to all women. Never, never, never give your man blue balls. It's the worst pain he will ever feel in his life. He never deserves it, unless you've had kidney stones. So that's short and sweet, and pretty much it... in a nutshell.
In layman's terms, yeah. In a nutshell. Nice.
There you go.
In a nutshell. I'm kind of curious, Natalie, because you mentioned this, that there are kind of physical symptoms for the female version of blue balls. Would you be able to kind of describe those? I mean, I'm just, obviously not having the equipment, a little daft and a little ignorant, so maybe,
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly psychological. There is some physiological response in terms of swelling and throbbing. It's not uncomfortable, but it's very present. But typically, the lack of things coming to fruition tends to lead our minds into dark places. So we start wondering why. What did we do wrong? Could we have done something differently? Does he find someone else appealing? Is he thinking about somebody else? But the physical response is mostly swelling and throbbing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear her say swelling and throbbing. I like that. I don't know what All right. So anyway, well, hey.
Poor kitty.
There you have it. Paulie, I had to get you involved in that conversation for a second because, we pretty much covered it. But yeah, so if you're a horny serial killer, it's double jeopardy.
Well, I tell you what, Raunch, the one thing I was relieved to hear is that...
relieved, he said. Huh?
She dispelled one myth that kind of made me smile. The whole bigger is not necessarily better thing. I mean, things are just looking up more and more around here each time I come back.
So now you're living up to your nickname, Peanut. Okay. Well, good. Like I say, at 6'10", I need an 18-inch dick to look normal. So it is what it is, folks. I'm not complaining, but at the same time, if I was just like a foot shorter, I'd be like fucking, John Holmes, But anyway, well, Natty, thank you for that, the sex myths and
thank you.
You got to keep bringing it. Just keep bringing it like that because Paulie will talk about it. We can do that every week, And if you people are listening out there in Renegade Nation, if you have blue balls. If you're a serial killer. If you really love porn or you need porn to get off and you don't want to tell your mate. And that's the same thing that goes for you women too. That sit there when your husband or your boyfriend's not home and you're watching lesbian porn because you've never licked a clit in your fucking life.
Yes.
And some of you want to, and when you're having that little dirty talk, and somehow the next thing you know, you got your head buried between some chick's thighs in the middle of some kind of foreplay. How the hell did you get in this story? I didn't bring it up. But when that comes up in my little realm of fun and play, I don't say...
That's a whole other segment, though,
That's right.
It's the whole idealism of lesbianism, the women that are afeared of truly exploring the female person.
It's a hot thing for most guys now. If she said to me, hey, I'd like to see you suck a guy's dick. Well... in some circles it might be accepted, but with me, that's, that doesn't do it for me. And, of course, if we watch a porno, a threesome porno, I'd rather see two chicks and a guy. I'm not homophobic in any sense of the word. I'm very secure that way. But, to each his own. Paulie, what do you like?
Well, personally, I'm more into the girl-on-girl thing or the solo thing when it comes to watching women porn. Natalie, last week it was mentioned that you're kind of into an alternative lifestyle, and I'm just kind of curious what exactly.
We'll talk about that next week. So here's Paulie trying to take over the fucking show again. But anyway. That's our hour, folks. It's Renegade Talk Radio. Paulie, thanks for that really cool smoke screen machine. That's pretty scary about Yellowstone. Now I'm going to be watching that. Something else to surf about on the news.
And it sounds like Yellowstone is getting its own version of blue balls.
Yeah, right. Fred Flintstone's going to be running by. He'll have blue balls, and then you'll see the little kid jerking off going, bam, 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 bam. So. Or Wilma will be taking a doggy style from Dino. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Natty, thank you for that. That was a very enlightening and painfully true to some people. They don't like it. So everybody, this is episode number 7 of the Renegade Talk Radio's RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast. We're going to keep bringing it. We've got a really cool interview with Mr. Edwin Keefus Matthews, who's in the top 10% of stuntmen. He's stunt doubled for guys like Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, even Steve Urkel. He's been in movies like one of the drivers in the Fast and the Furious. He was real close and still is with Vin Diesel and Tyrese and Ludacris and rest in peace Paul Walker. He's going to be bringing some great stories, and then you're going to get the behind the scenes scoop poop, if you will. He was injured at one point in time. He's been doing it since 1990, and he's going to be right here on the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast. So with that, everybody, we hope you have a great night. Don't forget, check us out. Stitcher.com, Podomatic.com, iTunes, and, of course, Renegade Talk Radio. Natty, thank you. We'll see you next week. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And the same with you, Mr. Paulie. And just keep bringing it, folks. That's it. It's a wrap. Be sure to get your friends to subscribe and download. And, me personally, when it comes to porn, I like a short skirt and a long jacket. Good night, everybody.